to Gavra Racing's GT4 series here at the Oschersleben course. I am Cypher977. Unfortunately tonight my co-partner in crime is not here today, but hopefully we'll be here to bring you some Gavra Racing action all the same. So then, coming off the back of last week at Algarve, nothing too much has changed in the grand scheme of things as we ride on board Javier here. But let's talk about the track a little bit. It's quite a narrow track actually. There's very little overall room. But as you can kind of clearly see, it is also very fast in some parts for these GT4 cars. We'll take a small lap here on board Javier to kind of show you just what I'm talking about. So yes, the Oschersleben course, while it's a very small course, it does have its share of tricky turns. As you see right here, this is about a 5th gear all the way down into 1st gear. You see he has to brake very late and nearly runs wide the corner. Then you need to kind of get on the acceleration pretty quickly as you go through turn 2 and 3. It's a very long sweeping corner, one of the longest of the season. And then into 4 and 5, another really long sweeping corner, but this time to the left. It's only now that you actually have decent length straight for some of the top speed guys to kind of take effect, but then you have to quickly shift down through these next 6 and 7. The car gets very light through there as it kind of just wants to drift out and then quickly back on the brakes once again toward the right. As you can see, this track loves its kind of sweeping-esque corners, so we'll see a lot of drivers who have better handling cars do really well as to go through the only chicane on this track. And then you have this sort of really long back straight. We expect the top speed cars to make a difference down here. And then another quick section here. Usually you'll see drivers either in 3rd or 4th gear around here, but it's very easy to kind of put a foot off and run wide there. Javier does pretty good there. And then another quick, usually just no brakes through there. And then onto the final straight here. This is a lap of Oschersleben. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, honestly. I don't know how this track is pronounced. But Javier is the first to set representative times in the 1:33s. It's relatively cloudy here, although we'll have to see what is in store for us in terms of Mother Nature. His teammate GTS goes across the line to set 140. Beckeratis right there. So what did we learn from Algarve? Well, Javier has extended his lead over current 2nd place man Red, who admittedly at this point, I'd say the championship's looking a little farther away than even he would like. If Javier keeps up his string of performances, then it'll pretty much be a locked championship by the time we reach the 2nd to last race of the season at this point. So it's going to take a little bit of a miracle for Red to regain his championship placing, but that's not the miracle he's looking for, I'm sure. Sliding through that last chicane and then running wide on the 2nd to last corner there. But as the drivers get on track, I don't believe there are any notable penalties to take place from Algarve. Swami running wide off of kind of the middle sector there. There's no real runoff here. Pretty much all the area here is grass, so we most likely will see some drivers run off in the sort of sweeping areas there. That might just be due to how the car handles. It'll be interesting to see what happens in that regard. In one of the KTMs right now. In terms of what car I think will have the best advantage this race, it's definitely a toss-up. I'd say it's more or less a driver track. However, there could be some interesting upsets here that I'm not quite sure. Ooh, it's crazy going very wide off after the the final at the chicane in Sector 2. Just gets it all wrong there. It's gonna be one of the issues, is how the car handles. There's gonna be a lot of weight shifting for these cars, so they're gonna have to get used to that on a track like this. As that's Joe Black with the bent rear wing. I wonder if the red behind him has made some sort of contact with him. Oh, red actually decides to go into second gear for this first sort of chicane section. Or second gear, I'm sorry. Usually we'll see drivers all the way down into first to make a corner like that, but it seems like red and maybe the rest of the Porsches have a little bit more mechanical grip than some of the other teams. Although he hasn't set a representative time, we'll see if he can do so at the moment. Pretty confident through there. Has to brake really hard for the right now. It's a Julian right in front of him, I believe. It's not gonna help his lap anytime soon. So far, though, on the pace, it is Javier being the only one to set a times in the low 135s. Everyone else still trying to make up said time, actually. Beccarat is the only one sort of in the hunt, I guess, so I would say. But we'll see if he can kind of get the time he needs as he goes to the chicane right now. Through the final sector, which I think I'm just going to call 15 and 16, I believe. I'm still getting used to the corner numbers here. And then coming down the final straight now, Javier's obviously a lot faster than him, so will this be a faster lap from Beccaratis? Javier just right behind him. He comes across the line now, and no, it actually goes slower there. Everyone, I believe, still just getting accustomed to the track, actually. So Adam goes through the complex of 7 through 9, and has to brake for 10. Definitely a lot more drivers, or certain drivers looking a little bit more comfortable than others, at least through some of the high-speed sections. Definitely not sure which driver is going to have an advantage here. Although Javier looks on the pace like always, so just have to wait and see, I suppose, there. Adam running very wide, though, off of 16. So it might be an invalidated lap for him, and yes, he calls it in quits for now. Crazy coming across the line now as practice ends. We'll see if he can bump himself up. He started well, he's bumped himself up to 5th. I was about to say he started well in the past, just hasn't gotten the race results I'm sure he would like, but maybe he can turn it around this weekend. But with practice now complete, your top 5 is the 2 Aston Martin teammates of Javier and GTS. Beccaratis rounding 3rd, Adam 4th, Crazy 5th. However, it's still all to play for qualifying. Looking at the times, does Javier actually have this amount of a gap over everyone else, or well, we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. Says Husa on his last practice lap right now. Currently sits 7th. Need to make up around 6/10 if he wants to bump himself up into 6th place. across the line now, and don't think he actually improved there. No, he didn't. He stayed in 7th, even though, yeah. So then, it is on to qualifying, and it is still all to play for. And hopefully, Valiant All-Star can also participate in qualifying as well. Oh, that's a red? No, that's not Simon. The other Porsche I'm trying to think of. Beccaratis. Like Beccaratis in the wall, but he's no stranger to having damage on his car early in practice. But either way, the first out is Adam, who it seems will take the first crack at a qualifying lap here. Ooh, he goes very wide there. That's not going to help him heat up his tires. Seems like a huge group of cluster actually back near the second sector coming out to start the qualifying laps now, but as per usual, we'll go on board the first car out in front and see their first qualifying time will be set. Alright, Adam comes across the final corner now to start his first qualifying lap. The first qualifying lap set out of any GT4 driver right now. See how brave he is on the brakes here for turn 1. Very heavy braking zone, shifting down from 5th to 1st gear pretty much. Well, he decides to take it in 2nd, takes a little too much of the curb. See, he wheel hopped it there. Then through 3 and 4, he manages to keep decent momentum there, although not quite the momentum I'm sure he was hoping to keep. Now to 5 and 6, he's got another difficult braking zone, decides to enter in wide and then cut back in. Although a little too much, he has to cut back inside a little bit. Now through the complex of 7 through 9, you have to be brave here, sort of keep the power, keep your foot in it, but you also don't want to run wide. He does a pretty good job and brake hard for 10 and 11. It's time to the right. 12, 13, the quick chicane. You want to take too much without the car getting too loose on you. Then 14 back to the right. Then you can actually flex a little bit of top speed there as we head into 15 and 16. It's a very difficult braking zone here. It's actually quite sharp, even though it doesn't look that bad. He actually does a pretty good job there. Make sure not to run wide. 17 quick here, he actually decides to shift down a little bit. It might cost him some time, and then 18 down here will bring him to the start-finish straight. Definitely can clean it up a little bit, but his first time to set is a 1:38.9. Behind him, Julian Ghost sets a 1:41. I believe his teammate behind him. As GTS sits 1:37, Javier still with the 1:33. Joe sits a 1:38 across the line. A lot crazy with the 1:37 as he just gets overtaken by Schwami, who goes 2nd with the 1:36. I was about to see a lot of drivers who didn't get their first lap in actually. Red, one of those drivers with an invalidated lap, I believe. But right now, as it stands, Javier is the only person in the 1:33 range at the moment. Everyone else is way off the pace comparatively. Schwami being the only closest so far in this entire session, actually. So he goes and sets a 136. Although plenty of drivers still left to make their first their first lap. Alex go out there for his first representative time. Red, I believe, had his first lap invalidated, so this will be his first time. Actually very safe across 15 and 16 complex. Although it goes really in the dirt, that's really not going to help him. I think that's an invalidated lap from him, and he is slowing down. Yes, Red calling it quits. That's not what he needs. He really needs to get back on the pace. There's any chance of saving his championship hopes. Kwame now coming through the complex right now. Can he set an even faster time? This comes across the line. That's it's crazy in front of him. Kwame comes across the line. It's an improvement, but not an improvement enough. Crazy also improves just by a tenth or two. And then Husa coming across the line, sitting in 6th right now. This is actually one of his better qualifying performances in recent races. Can he improve? He does not improve. 2 tenths down there. Max Pleat across the line next, currently sitting 10th. Goes faster, but no, not fast enough to displace Julian. Star, I believe, has a penalty, so we'll see what that's for in just a second. GTS coming through the final complex right now. We'll see if he can get himself up to at least 2nd behind his teammate. I think at this point, Javier just seems way too far out of reach for anybody else to actually catch him. GTS across the line, and it is not a counted lap. Across the line next is Alex and Crowther. Alex, I believe, is starting his lap. Crowther does not improve. Let's go on board. Alex actually quite wide into the first complex. Let's see if he can heat it up a little bit going through these the first sector. Uzi goes really wide into 5 and then just can't correct it in time. He is in the dirt. A lot of drivers still yet to make their first time. Red goes really wide off of the 2nd to last corner. Is that an invalidated lap from him? I wonder. Comes across the line now, half the session gone, and it is still not a confirmed lap from Red, so Red's still struggling to make a sort of lap. Ratus has a lot of damage, but we'll see if he can improve his time. He's one of the drivers who actually was able to set a 136, so maybe he can go faster. It's 500s up. Just needs to find a 10th or 2 to displace Crazy. Runs very wide off of the 2nd to last corner. We'll see if that was an invalidated lap time from the stewards. So it comes across the line now. It's an invalidated lap time there. So this is Joe and I believe Beccaratis right there coming to the 15 to 16 there. Although he gets it in the dirt a little bit and actually slides quite a lot. Decides to abandon that lap. Excuse me, that's not Beccaratis, that's Red. It took me a while. So Red, has he actually been able to get a full lap together? He comes across the line now, and he goes 2nd with the 136.3, plus the rest, although still obviously very far down compared to where Javier is. With a little bit of front end damage, so I wonder if he's running to the back of somebody. He While Schwami coming through now, he's been displaced by Red, but can he respond with another lap? We're coming down to the last 5 minutes of this qualifying session, so it's still anybody's rush for, I'd say, second at this point. But Schwami now on his lap. As I just noticed, GTS has actually gone quicker. He's now second with the 136.2, so he's now fastest of the rest. Ooh, that's Schwami very far into the dirt, so that's probably another invalidated lap from him. Meanwhile, Crazy coming down the back straight right now with, I believe that's Alex behind him. 15 and 16 now. Can he piece together? That's Alex who runs very wide, actually. Just to put a stop to that. Through the last corner, can Crazy improve on his time? He does look by 9/10, actually goes third with the 136.2. So GTS and Schwami have been pushed down again. Gavra just going through 12 and 13 chicane. He's been displaced all the way down to 6. Can he respond with something? And I believe Bowie, Slim Sign, and Ryan have a supposed penalty considering their lack of qualifying. So those 3 will be starting down toward the bottom of the field for this race. Again, just like Algarve. We'll see though if they can actually make their way through the field though, with a little bit less of a speed-dependent track. But Bekaraj is 5/10 down on his time, so it does not improve. All-Star across the line to set his first time. Or it's going to set his first time actually, because I believe he's now just crossed the line. Meanwhile, Alex still left to set a representative time. This is actually the one where he cleans it up. Red has actually gone even faster. He's now set a time in the 134, so finally starting to flex the muscles there. Alex goes 7th with a 137.4, displacing Husa down to 8th. I think Husa will stay in his position though. So with Red displacing Crazy and GTS, can either of them respond? This is Schwami coming through to 17 and 18 now. We'll see if he can get back up there into the top 3. With 2 minutes to go, as it stands, it is Javier, Red, and Crazy. At least 2 Aston Martins and Porsche. Schwami not on that lap, so this will most likely be his final lap attempt. Is coming through now. Can he get back up into 2nd place? As he comes through the final corner now, let's see if is able to pick up the throttle pretty quickly there. Is this a faster time for him? It is. It's a 10th faster, and it's just enough to displace Crazy there. As Adam also coming across the line, not being able to improve on his time. And I believe that, yeah, that's Crazy, and All-Star coming across the line. Can they improve? Crazy comes across the line now, not fast enough. Javier is actually back out there, so he sees these guys as a potential threat. Gets a little loose there on the final corner, but it's just a faster time. It is, well, I believe he's actually starting his final lap now, so The only close competitor now is Red, as Javier goes very deep into turn 1 as he actually hits the second curb there, and I believe that is a lap over from Javier. Yes, it is. GTS also going very slow, so I believe he has also messed up his lap. Swami penalty there, so that lap did not count. We'll see if he gets another chance though. As qualifying ends, there's only so few of the top guys still out there with a chance. So Swami around in turn 1, so he's also got it wrong. Adam also deciding to quit on his lap. Julian runs wide right in front of Alex, that is. So Alex, the only one left on a representative time. He's a 10th up, although runs very wide into 15 and 16. We'll see if he can kind of clean it up a little bit. 10th is all he needs in order to displace Bekaratis for 6th place. See if it is good enough. Comes across the last turn now, and can Alex improve on his time to steal 6th place? He cannot. So he remains 7th. So as it stands now, your top 3 are Javier, Red, and GTS, followed behind Crazy, Swami, Bekaratis, Alex, Husa, Adam, and Joe, your top 10 in qualifying. Still a whole race to go, so let's see exactly what happens there. Here we are, bright and shining Oschersleben circuit, ready for the race here in round 10. So let's go down the field and give some character stories. Javier obviously dominated last time in Algarve. Can he show another dominating performance here today? Red looking to displace Javier's dominance in the past couple in the last race. Let's see what he can do. GTS once again just trying to put in consistent finishes, as we saw a pretty good battle for him last time around. Crazy, another one. He starts good, but can he finish good? That is the question. Swami, another consistent finisher. Can he put in a good performance today? Bekaratis, another one who's looking for a solid race. Alad's one of his best starting positions. Can he capitalize? Husa starting mid-pack today. Will this change his strategy and approach for the race? Adam in 9th. Joe in 10th. Pretty far back than I'm sure either of those guys would like compared to where they've been before. Julian 11th, Max Blee 12th, Bowie 13. Bowie, Slimstein, and Ryan actually were not allowed to qualify, so both of the KTMs at the back. And that is your grid. As you can see, a very clustered grid. It's, well, I'm not really sure what we're about to see, but we're going to see these GT4 drivers put it all on the line to try and do their best here today. But it's definitely anyone's game while the lights are still red. So without further ado, let's head towards the race. Here we go, 2-4 red lights here in Germany, and they're off. It's Crazy with a decent start, although very clustered in the back. Red actually gets a decent pull on there. Crazy has to slot in behind Red as they barrel down into turn 1. That's Alex. Oh, that's looking in the back of Bekaratis, I believe. And yeah, very wide. That's Bekaratis going, and that's Red who is spun it into the first turn. And there's a huge calamity in the background. And that's Crazy getting bounced around. He's actually on top of Max Police, so very huge cluster at the beginning. It is Red and Javier who come out the best of that, and then it's GTS followed by Bowie, who's gone from 12th to 4th. He actually pushes GTS, who runs a little wide there, and then also getting feisty, that's Bowie. Or not Bowie, that's Bekaratis there. Joe looking to also capitalize on GTS there, but we have a ton of contact into the first turn. But currently now it is Red who is leading from Javier. That's exactly what he needs to do. Currently the big losers from that cluster was Crazy, who once again started good but cannot finish good. Husa also being bumped all the way down to 14th. I am not even sure what even happened in turn 1. We'll have to go back to a replay there. That's Ryan, who runs very wide through 12 and 13 chicane. Although now up front is Schwami looking onto the back of GTS. Joe has actually propelled himself into 5th place. And Becaratis now slots into 4th place. So a lot of big movers here at the beginning of the race. Still all to play for even in the back. It's Slimside making an easy pass there on Maxby. I believe had to give the position up to Adam behind them. As Alex is one of the first cars to pit, I believe he may have damage from that. But back up front, it is red from Javier Bowie, and then GTS, that's GTS who runs very wide into the first corner, is now being hounded by Joe and Schwami, and that's All-Star very far off the first turn, and he allows All-Star to cut back inside, or Ryan to cut back inside, and he will make that pass. Then followed by Julian, Slimside, Alex, Max Bleak, Crazy, who's now being hounded by Husa. So Alex, the only one who seemingly had to pit from all of that, actually. As in front of them, it's Slimside battling with Julian there for 10th place. Obviously a very, very chaotic start to this race. Slimside up to the inside of Julian, and he will take 10th place there very easily. It's Javier, who actually has a little bit of front damage, as now he's been overtaken by Bowie. So I actually didn't see, that might have been Javier who collided with Red, or whoever it was in the first turn, as it's Javier who runs very wide there. He's cut back inside to avoid overshooting the corner. And then followed by GTS and Joe, who also runs very wide, and he is off right in front of Schwami, and he is in a very bad position. Ryan is able to get through Joe, so Joe has beached it into 15 and 16. See if everyone can get through there relatively cleanly. So yes, Javier falling back to 3rd with Bowie, as Bowie goes very far deep into turn 1. Manages to keep it out of the dirt there. Becaratis now under attack from GTS, who has managed to catch him a little bit. All-Star up to 8th, pretty good from him, although he's back under attack from Slimside, who I believe had to give back the position there. And then Adam, Crazy, Julian behind them. Julian also running very wide, and Husa actually losing quite a lot of time. Joe falling all the way back to 15th after a really good start. He was up to 5th after that. And then Bowie battling with Javier there side by side, heading through 10 and 11. KTM versus Aston Martin. Bowie just bullying him out of the way. Remember, Bowie started pretty much outside the top 10 because he wasn't allowed to qualify, and somehow he's made his way up into 2nd place. Somebody give this man a medal. I said, we'll go back and see exactly what happened on the first lap, just when a little bit more of this action calms down. Right now, it is a more or less kind of two-way fight for second between Bowie and Javier. Everyone else is kind of starting to find their positions in this race. Sort of calms down a little bit. Finally go back and kind of see the events that have transpired there. Since All-Star decided to make a quick pit stop there, I wonder if he has damage. As I look back now to try and figure out what has just transpired, Javier is still hounding on the back of Bowie, who has a penalty. We'll also see what that is for later on in this race. So on the first lap, Red did get a pretty good start on Javier. He was actually able to overtake him, and it was actually trying to go back and see right now. It was, I believe, a blue Audi who collided with Beccaratis. Yes, it was Alex who collided with Beccaratis at the start. I don't think he even saw him there, and that's what caused him to go careening into the grass. And it was Red who had got it all wrong into turn 1. This part right here spun in front of the field, and then was hit driver's side by Javier. And Crazy, with nowhere to go, absolutely spun it and then clogged up the rest of the field. Schwami, Schwami up 2 wheels, pretty much both of the Aston Martins and the Ginettas getting some kind of damage in that crash. The Aston Martins pretty much taking evasive action to get through it, and yeah, just a huge cluster incident from a lot of drivers in the field. It all started when Red just got it all wrong going into turn 1 and was pretty much sideways in front of the field. Not entirely, I guess it was just a lack of traction there, but that has caused Javier to receive substantial front end damage, as you can see there. While GTS, another driver who has damage from contact sustained, he's now in front of Schwami, and that's Ryan trying to make his way back up there. Back there, Husa now finally getting his rhythm back to try and make a run on Julian. He runs wide. Husa doesn't do any better there. Julian gets it all wrong there out of 12 and 13. As Husa up into 10th place. Meanwhile, we have a 3-way battle for first, pretty much, between Red, Bowie, and Javier, and quickly see. So there's a 1-second penalty for Bowie, probably for track limits. So we'll see exactly how that plays into this race as well. Adam also has a penalty in the back. We'll check with that later. So now it's Ryan looking on the back of Schwami. Preza has made his way back up to 9th after pretty much being backwards in the front of the pack. And Husa has disconnected, so real unfortunate for him. He was finally starting to get his rhythm, and that he is out of this race, so that is 1 KTM down. But meanwhile, up front, Bowie has started to launch an assault on Red. Red really needs to try and get himself away from this trio if he wants any chance of beating Javier. Javier has substantial engine damage, so... but Red looking very vulnerable off the final turn. Thankfully, Julian is out of the way there. But this has led Red very susceptible to Bowie. Although Red will be able to keep the position going into turn 1, although Bowie, will he be late on the brakes? He makes a look for it, although can't quite do anything about it. Decides to kind of cut back in there. Meanwhile, behind them, it is Schwami's on the back of GTS now as he's gotten away from Ryan. GTS, Schwami also not able to find an opening there. Meanwhile, up front, Bowie has actually decided to make a move around the outside of Red going into 7 through 9. Bowie very wide, although he's able to keep it in there. Very bold move. Now he looks on the outside of 10 and 11, although Javier looked at it, although he cuts the door back on it. So Bowie just right there hanging on the back of Red. He needs to be careful here. He knows the KTM is faster with some of these corners. He looks to the outside. Meanwhile, Javier decides to make a move down to the inside of Bowie. KTM has this decent acceleration, although Bowie looks to block to the inside. Cuts back out then to try and block Javier. Once again, very high tension from these three. Pretty much all three manufacturers as Bowie cuts the corner a little bit. I wonder if that's a time penalty. Bowie gets a very good run off of the final turn. He backed it up there. He's still on the back of Red, although that KTM speed not helping him. Red able to defend with his Porsche speed. Javier will try to at least look for some way. Bowie decides to maybe look. Red flinches a little bit. To let off because he's going very wide, or just wide enough actually to kind of maintain his traction. Schwami overtakes GTS and now looks to the back of Beccaratis there. And once again, Bowie looking onto the outside of Red as they head through 7 and 9. There's space there, but can he actually make it stick through the outside? Red has to give him some room. Actually, maybe makes a little bit of contact, forces him onto the grass. Although, no harm, no foul there. Through 12 and 13, it's Porsche leading KTM and Aston Martin. As oh, that's Bowie. Where's he gone? Oh, he's all the way over there in the dirt somewhere. So Bowie got it all wrong out of 14, and that has led Javier to get past him no time sweat. So now Javier has still got damage, but can he actually make a move on Red? I'm not sure if Red has any sort of substantial damage. It might just be body damage, actually. Because now this is Ryan looking on the back of Crazy. Ryan was actually further up the field, I believe, so I wonder if he's made a mistake as well. Up front is Javier trying to track down Red. Made it onto lap 9 now. Which all the drivers are starting to settle in, so Javier goes wide there, maybe just to get a decent exit off. As he gets it a little wrong and has to hold the brakes, or else he was going to head into the wall right there. So Javier, I don't think the damage is helping him, but I think he's just pushing a little too hard. He's got a damaged car, so he can't push as much as he'd like to, I'm sure. I was about to say, as we head down through the field a little bit, and a little bit of an analysis of what has transpired. Red, who was able to take the lead by turn 1, but then spun it in front of the field, and that's where the contact with Javier came. And then Bowie, who pretty much started dead last, has now made himself up into the podium spots. Beccaratis now under fire from Schwami. Beccaratis was able to at least avoid most of the contact in that first lap flash. Schwami, not too much luckier, but was able to get to 5th. GTS, who also sustained some front damage there from the first lap calamity, as well as pretty much everyone down from 8th on back, besides the Mustangs, received some sort of damage there. But now it's Schwami versus Beccaratis there for the 4th spot. Schwami's actually done pretty well to gain back all the time that he wasn't able to make up in qualifying. So can he maybe try to look for a move on the back of Beccaratis here? Very deep, actually, nearly hits the back of Beccaratis, but isn't able to make any sort of move there. So saying further down the field, Slimsign, another unlucky casualty, although I think he took to the dirt. And then Ryan, who finally gets around Crazy. He was up further up the field, I believe, but then had an incident there. So now he's fighting with Crazy, who was another unfortunate one. Crazy was actually on top of Max Ble by the end of turn 2. Alex, who was also an unfortunate victim in that accident, as well as Adam, who was also turned around. All-Star, who also has major damage there. Right now, back up front, it is Red leading from Javier, who's now actually being attacked by Bowie once again. So Javier's mistakes has led for Bowie to come back and make a move. at least look for an opportunity, maybe. This damage definitely affecting Javier a lot more than you think, because it's Bowie who runs a little wide off the final exit. Bowie running the fastest out of all three of these guys, so could Bowie actually go from what pretty much was a last place starting position to first? It'd be incredible to see it happen. Ooh, Bowie looking very close. He actually had a lot of traction comparatively to Javier. So he go all the way to the back of them, and now he looks onto the outside, coming into 5 and 6. Javier give him the space. Bowie's still very ambitious around the outside, although he's on the grass, isn't able to hold the spot. Bowie making very audacious moves around the outside, but I don't think these guys are going to let him get away with that. Even while these two are fighting, they've still managed to catch up to Red, so Red seemingly not having the pace that usually the leader is able to make on the group. He's actually being hounded quite a bit by these two. By extension, Beccarat is also being hunted down by Schwami and GTS, who has managed to at least cut the gap a little bit between these two. Just leaves the door open a little bit. Meanwhile, Julian's in the pits, and that's Bowie who makes a very quick move up the inside of Javier. He did a quick little bump there, and he is into second, although Javier will be looking to make that move back. Bowie does decide to block towards the inside. I don't think Javier was expecting it, but Bowie has made the move work. Now they go side by side into turn 1. Across the curb, and that is Bowie into second place. So now Bowie looking on the back of Red to try and regain first, although he does have a penalty, so even if he does get the lead, he'll need to build a sort of gap to these two, or else it won't mean anything. Bowie looking through 7 through 9. It's just a lot stronger through here. That's just the natural KTM handling there. It's to break pretty well for 10-11, although he's going to be right on the back of Red coming through the chicane of 12 and 13. So he's just able to take it a lot more confidently than Red. Bowie getting really close to the back of Red. I was about to say it looked like Schwami was making a move on Beccaratis there. So we'll just see back there. Red still defending from Bowie, who looked like he was going to try to make a move. Bowie, will he make the same dive bomb he tried on Javier? He thought about it, although Red blocks the door on him. That has compromised their line quite a bit, so Bowie might actually have the comparative speed as they head down into turn 1 now. I don't think Bowie wants to stay behind any longer. He is going to try to at least look down, as that's Red who goes very far. Even Javier goes very far. That is an easy move for Bowie to make, as now Javier and Red go side by side. Red put down even more into the grass. And so Bowie just forcing Red into a mistake. And now it is Bowie who's taken the lead of this race as it stands. But he does have a penalty, so we'll see how much he can extend the gap comparatively to Red. But as it stands, it's not Bowie who leads Javier, it's by extension Red. Red obviously is fighting Javier for the championship, but Bowie's obviously gonna be a thorn in his side for that. Going back here, Beccarat is still under pressure from Schwami, although he's managed to build a little bit of a gap now. Looks like he's starting to pull away, actually. And GTS, who's fallen off the back of these two by quite a bit. I say that Schwami has actually been able to catch up to Beccarat, who looked like he got it a little bit off there out of 14. Schwami looking on the back. He looks a little bit, although decides to cut back in line, and they both go very wide. I believe Schwami made a little bit of contact with Beckeratis as they both tried to slow down for 15. And that has allowed Beckeratis to kind of get away from Schwami a little bit. Back up here, the gap is actually starting to form between the three leaders as they each seem to have the pace over the other behind them. Bowie seeming to have the dominant pace right now as he's setting times in the 1:35. So Red might actually have been generally slower than these two. We'll have to wait and see. Even with Javier damaged, I wonder if Red is starting to feel the effects of his damage as well, because he was pretty much the catalyst hit. Going through 12 and 13. Just got it a little bit wrong here, although he's able to keep it decently together there comparatively to Schwami. He's able to close the gap at least a tenth by a bit. Schwami slides in the 15. He's able to keep the momentum there. Sooner rather than later. So then, 15 laps of the race down, everyone is more or less settling into their spots now. Actually, Bowie still has his 1 second penalty as Al is in front of him. I was going to say, so the Aston Martin has plenty more fuel than the KTM and Porsche. I wonder if that's just the max limit that they have, but Bowie is able to kind of keep the distance over Javier, which is pretty surprising actually. I mean, I know he didn't qualify, so he was pretty much forced to start down, but it's honestly an interesting performance from Bowie, who has obviously been the center of controversy as of recent weeks, but maybe he can actually shine for KTM this week. This is the closest battle on track. It's for 4th place. Schwami putting on a really decent performance here, although Beckeratis is pretty much the flagship for consistency in this series, so it'll be difficult to try to overtake him here. I realize that that's actually Slim Sign in the background who's slowly starting to catch up to this group. He actually is slightly faster than these two and even GTS, so maybe even Slim Sign can make a late run into the top 6. Because that's Adam there who's got it all wrong coming off of 3. Thankfully he's out of the way there. Now Red has lost a huge amount of time compared to Javier and Bowie, so I wonder if he's got it wrong someplace where he just legitimately does not have the pace. Javier is able to at least keep in touch with Bowie, although Bowie just seems to have the outright better pace throughout this entire race. He's head through lap traffic now. Ooh, that's I believe that's All-Star who, yeah, that's All-Star kind of cut back in line there, although thankfully lets him go. Oh no, that's a terrible hit into the wall. I was about to say, a little bit of contact with the leader accidentally. I don't think he meant to do that. That has sent him into the wall. A slight scare, actually. Meanwhile, that's Alex. Yeah, Alex is now looking on the inside of these two as there is a little bit of contact, a little bit of argy-bargy. Meanwhile, Red also looking to get through lap traffic now. Both the Ginettas not making Red's day any better as it stands here. He has to pretty much kind of hold his line throughout here because there is very little place to pass. So the narrow track coming to bite Red as he is losing heaps of time and staying behind both the Ginettas. Thankfully they get out of his way here, but that's not going to make his day any sort of better. Meanwhile, Schwami now on the very back of Begratis actually, so this is his best opportunity to try to make something happen. With the 12 and 13 and now 14. Schwami all the way on the back of him. Much later on the brakes is actually, it's a little loose and here get out of the gas there, so he isn't able to capitalize. Schwami looked like he had to kind of back up a little bit, and that's what's kind of kept him into the lead there. But Javier's actually caught very close back up to Bowie. So Javier trying to get back on his pace now as he's reeled in Bowie by a huge amount, even with his issues so far. Just kind of has the strengths around the important parts of this track, so definitely one that suits Bowie a lot more than it does Javier, even though their times are pretty stagnant right now. Once again, so Schwami can make something happen through 12 and 13. Just kind of to cut back inside a little bit. Schwami gets it a little wrong through 15, kind of slid a little bit. Has lost him a lot of time now. GTS will be looking to kind of capitalize on that. Behind him, I didn't even notice it's actually Ryan who's caught up to the back of Slim Sign, who has actually stagnated a little bit. So we might see Ryan make a move on his, well, not really team KTM, but KTM affiliated driver. Very quickly to the back of them, actually. He's pretty much closed the gap to Slim Sign in about a sector. He runs quite wide, but Slim Sign locks up going into 10. So it's still on the play for 7th place between these two. As I wonder if it's a Ginetta off there, thankfully out of the way. Ryan has closed the gap to Slim Sign in pretty much a lap's time. So can he make a move on Slim Sign? Both of these have relatively equal speed, so it'll pretty much be a test of who can get the best acceleration off of the corner. As that Slim Sign goes very far off, so never mind that, it'll just be Ryan just taking the position out of pure pressure. Well, Slim Sign cuts back in his obscure line and is actually able to make the second run back at Ryan. The outside, Ryan has to hold the inside line. We go side by side a little bit into two. Slim Sign's still there, but Ryan is able to keep it around the outside, although he doesn't decide to cut back in. And that actually allows Slim Sign to keep it there on the outside. Ryan tries to close it a little bit, and he will have the preferred line, and that is that and that. So Slim Sign again off out of 6. So Ryan able to take 7th. Can he make a run now for these 3 guys? Because once again, the gap is kind of stagnated. Red is the only one who has really dropped off from these 2. So then again, though, I wonder, because Javier is setting decent times, although he's not fast enough. The damage might just be holding him back enough so that Bowie is actually able to keep decent pace. Swami gets really loose out of that turn. That's Alex who also gets really loose and has allowed GTS to catch back up really quickly. It's loose again. He's really struggling with the grip of that car. That's Ryan right there in the background. He's also kind of bearing down on these 2. Sight set on a GTS, excuse me. It's pretty much caught up to both of them once again really quickly, so Ryan got the best pace out of all 3 of these guys actually. All the way on the back of GTS, he's right there. 13, looking to set up, although he gets it really wide there. The balance just got away from him there, just being a little too aggressive. To 15 and 16, Swami getting it very bad, and that is Swami down 2 spots actually to both GTS and Ryan. Now Ryan looking for a little bit more, he gets it bad off of that corner. Ooh, is that just Ryan up to the inside? A very audacious move. I don't think GTS saw him coming, though still a decent fair game there, considering no one got wrecked. Though Ryan being very aggressive considering the moves he's made. Decides to block to the outside there against Swami. Swami will just kind of hold it down for now. Ooh, that's Slim Sign going very far off into the dirt. That's Ryan back up to the inside of GTS, and he will take the position. He is not taking any prisoners there. Ryan up into 5th place. Ryan is even shown to have faster times than Gavra, who's just in front of him. Swami looking on the back of the vulnerable GTS here. So it's not just Bowie who's doing incredibly well here, it's actually even his KTM teammate who's also doing really well. So it's on startup, disconnection, as well as Julian. Both Janettas are out in this race. As it stands, Beckcrouch is only right there in front of Ryan. It's not that big of a gap. Rogers losing a huge amount of time compared to the others, so it must just be a lack of pace from Red because he's dropped so far off of the two in front of him. If he's not careful, he will even fall into the clutches of his teammate. Ryan there, right, coming back to the back of Gavra Racing there, so Ryan is showing pretty much the best pace out of anyone in the top 5, pretty much in the mid-pack right now. So he will in fact try to mount a charge on Gavra Racing in front of him. Ryan getting it very wrong off of 14, so hold the brakes there to prevent himself from going into the wall. So Ryan obviously very aggressive, however he knows he can try to catch Gavra Racing, but he needs to keep it on the pavement there. Meanwhile, Slim Sign actually catching back up to Schwami now after some time. So maybe he can mount a sort of charge there. So meanwhile, in behind, this is actually the battle for 11th between Max Lee and Alex. Around the outside of Max Lee, although he's going to shut the door there. Have to wait till the chicane. Max Lee goes defensive into 12 and 13, although runs a little bit wide there. Alex looks to maybe look around the outside there. Indeed, Alex is on the outside. He doesn't have the speed down the back straight, and that is Alex into 11th place there. Ryan has closed the gap back on Gavra Racing. It's less than a second now. That's Adam actually in the wall hard down on after 14. So he's got it wrong. Ryan's still setting in green lap time, so he's still got even more pace to bring out of this. Acceleration down the straight, it actually does pretty good there, although Gavra Racing will have the Porsche speed to kind of help him out there, as that's Slim Sign on the back of Schwami. I don't think Ryan will decide to make a move. It'll be awfully audacious if he decides to. Gavra Racing goes defensive into 1. Ryan mounts the curb a little bit. He thinks he can come back and hit through this corner here. Just hounding the back of Gavra Racing, although it's just not enough. Rogers again goes defensive into 5, by extension 6. Well, Ryan gets a really good run off of there. He'll have to wait through the complex of 7 through 9. Just upset by the way he took the chicane. While behind them, Schwami back of GTS. Ryan's still not able to kind of capitalize on Gavra Racing, though he goes really wide into 15. He's on the back from there, but can he actually make the move stick? Been audacious on the brakes down into 18 before. He's decides to kind of hang it around the outside and cut back inside instead. He does so, but Red just placed the car, Becker just placed the car really well. He's not able to go anywhere. So once again, he has to stick behind. Becker just goes defensive into one. Actually very defensive, pretty much just holding up Ryan at this point. Ooh, Becker just left the door open, and Ryan saw that opportunity. He went down the inside and he took it. Ryan taking no prisoners today, although Becker just looks back up to the inside. He has the preferred line. Ryan a little spooked by that. He has to cut back inside, although decides to try to go back to the inside, but cannot make it work. Meanwhile, Slipsign has in fact caught up to Schwami and GTS. Schwami goes very wide. Two distinct battles going on here. So we'll have to keep an eye out for both of them. Ryan got the run, but Crouch is just placing his car where he needs it to be so that Ryan can't make it move. Ryan's pushing it through the 15 and 16, actually a little bit on the grass. Becker just goes defensive there, and Ryan touched the back of him. I wonder if that's a little bit of a front end damage there. Let's see. Ryan obviously quite fed up here. He's going to try to make the move early. Meanwhile, Swami making the move on GTS behind him. So Ryan obviously being very aggressive with the midfield cars, because he knows he's faster, but he just doesn't have the speed to kind of follow through. As that's GTS who runs pretty wide, although not able to do it. Ryan pretty much bumping on the back of Beck Rogers at this point, gets him a little loose. And then Beck Rogers comes back to the outside. At this rate, Ryan won't have a car left to drive with, the way he's been handling it around other drivers. Starts to go defensive into this corner, though Ryan a little bit has to brake even more than usual. He's on the curb quite a bit, although he actually manages to make it work there. Beckhart's taking a little bit of a defensive line. Ryan sees his opportunity. He will go around the outside. Is on the dirt though, and so he has to give it back up to Beckeratis. He had the move done, although he kind of had to stay behind there because he was falling on the dirt. Once again, just pushing Beckeratis through the slower corners. And that's Slipsign making a move down the inside of Schwami there. Schwami will have the overspeed there to keep him at bay. Now these two are coming up on the lap cars of, I believe that's Max Blee and Crazy in front of them. So it'll be interesting to see how this throws a wrench into this. I'm gonna catch him in the worst time too. Ryan sees this, he thinks about making a move into 7. And he actually will look at it. Beck Rogers closes the door on him. Looks around the outside. Maybe Beck Rogers closes the door there. Now both these guys are getting held up by Max Blee going through 10 and 11 now. And Ryan sees the opportunity. He gets very loose. Has to back out of it. Thankfully Max Blee gets out of the way of these two. Although Ryan still hustling them both. GTS has managed to break away from Schwami and Slipsign a little bit there. Very audacious down into 17. He looks even more audacious, and the 18 gets it all wrong. Bekarate sees this, actually goes down the inside, but now, ooh, they keep touching. Hopefully that didn't end any worse than it did. Ryan had to back off a little bit there because the cars were kind of getting stuck to one another. Once again, Bekarate just defensive. Ryan just can't seem to pass without making one of these aggressive moves like he's been doing all race. Now up the inside of Bekarate, he will push Bekarate out wide, make sure he can't recover. And that is Ryan up into 4th place now. So as it stands, one more or less kind of, now they're actually kind of staying positions, but going down the field, it is Bowie who, after taking the lead of this race, has held a very respectable gap over Javier. It'll be just enough for him to take the win if all things stay the same. Red, who has dropped heaps amount, I think he's just content with 3rd place at this point. Although Ryan is only right here, so he can't be too lax. He's still in the hunt, although Ryan looks a little bit better in the place where Bekarate isn't. So Ryan might be able to hold on right now. Some side mulling away from the back of Schwami after he was right there, so these two had a small incident separately, maybe because they've both fallen off the back of GTS. So now actually, well, he's managed to maintain the gap to Bekarate actually. Less than 6 laps to go. This kind of seems more or less stable at this point, although there are still some issues, as actually Red and Ryan have penalties, one each. Oh, as it's Bowie actually has a 2-second penalty, so he's actually very susceptible to Javier still being able to win this race. Red actually still needs to build up a 2-second gap to Bekarate, who wants 4th place. So neither of these two are actually that safe, although Ryan has around a 3-second gap comparatively. So Ryan is just about safe. Bowie, however, is not safe. He's in the danger zone comparatively to Javier. He's only right there, actually, so this is essentially still a race on for the lead, considering that Javier only has to bring the gap down by 2 seconds. Meanwhile, the Red is still kind of holding station here. Red has actually not been able to close up the gap there. Instead, it is Bekarate just being closed in now by GTS. But with Ryan at the pace that he is right now, it seems like he will be able to maintain 4th with his time penalty. So it's still all up to Bekarate and how fast he can go. behind him, Slimslime has had some sort of incident because he's fallen off the back of Schwami. Looks like that would be the end of his run towards 7th. Just joining us here, it is still a fourth battle for the win as Bowie has a 2-second penalty, which will still leave him in the clutches of Javier. Javier needs to essentially make 5/10 on Bowie if he wants to win this. So this is still a very hard-fought battle for the win, where every 1/10 of a second counts. Bowie will be going through the lap traffic of Adam, so he needs to clear that quickly. This is actually being able to extend his gap over GTS a little bit. And Ryan looks like he will finish 4th with his team. Kind of depends where he gets to Adam here and how much time he might lose. Looks like he might catch him by the front straight. The time is fluctuating between 2 and 2.5, so Javier still has all to play for here. Looks like he will get him on the straight, and hopefully he gets out of the way of Bowie here and make the time there. Yes, he does. So now does he let Javier go through as well? It looks like he might not. Okay, yes, he does. Alright, so now no more lap traffic will interfere with these two. It's now just a battle of who can close the gap in farther. Spending nearly identical lap times the entire race, but it has all come to play for it now. If Bowie makes a mistake, Javier has got this in the bag, so he's got to put in his fastest laps of the session right now. Javier goes really slidey in the 14. He lost a couple of tenths there. That has actually extended the gap to 3 seconds. So Javier pushing quite a bit has given Bowie the gap he might just need as they come now down to the last lap. Although the same thing could happen to Bowie if he makes a foot wrong. Still 2 seconds time penalty, but now they start the final lap. Javier runs wide there off of his 18, so to start the final lap the gap is officially 9/10, just about actually. But Bowie, who essentially did not even qualify, managed to show everyone that the KTM was the superior car today. Him and his teammate Ryan have essentially come out of nowhere to finish very high up the field. Although I don't want to jinx them just yet because Javier is still in this mix. Seems to fluctuate around 3 seconds. So it'll be about a second gap, and it does actually look bigger comparatively to each other as well. As that's Javier who gets it all wrong off of 14, and he has spun it around actually. So that has pretty much confirmed it. Bowie will, in fact, even with his 2-second penalty, be able to safely coast now to the finish here at the Oschersleben track. It will be a another KTM victory to add. Although it's not the KTM from Silverstone, it'll be Ryan's teammate Bowie, who comes across the line to win here at Oschersleben. Javier coming through now. Obviously, it was still in his grasp. Although with his earlier damage, I think he was just a lot worse than even he thought. But he comes for second right now. And red, this will obviously be an even bigger championship deficit. This might be the last hurrah for them as Javier extends his championship gap and pretty much might even be able to lock it down by the next couple of races. So just it'll take a miracle at this point for now. Ryan, who also pretty much started near the back, has come through the field quite aggressively. He looks to finish 4th place. Gradis indeed was able to maintain his gap over GTS and will finish a decent, comfortable 5th place. GTS, who was also involved in that earlier scrap, he lost quite a lot of time, but looks like he will come across to finish 6th, which will be a decent effort for all that he's gone through in 7th. Slim Sign, who had a little bit of ups and downs, he will come across to finish 8th. And then the lap down cars of Joe, Crazy, and Alex, including Max Bleet and Adam. And then his all-star Julian and Husa, who disconnected from this race, and that is your results as it stands. It is a KTM victory here in Germany. It is Bowie here, and it is Javier 2nd, Red 3rd. Overall, a very chaotic race, especially in the beginning, which pretty much defined what we were going to see. But in terms of the actual championship fight, it is Javier who extends his gap over Red, which might have pretty much sealed the championship for both of them. But it is essentially a KTM resurgence here, as Bowie will take the win for KTM, their 2nd win of the season, first coming at Silverstone. So a very good race here at the Oschersleben track, and thank you all for watching here in Gavra Racing's GT4 series. We hope to see you again next time for just as an equally exciting race. So without further ado, I have been Cypher Knight 77, and everyone have a good night.